Hi, I'm Michelle.
And I'm Bill.
We are the Wrestling team, selling beaded and stainless steel chain jewelry, highlighting and fitness and women's competition pieces. I can even custom just for you. Check us out
at BrentBling.com.
You're funny.
Like I said. Do you like my tail?
Like I said.
And we are back here for another installment of Iron Rage. I am joined by Lee Priest on Australia Day. So
no, that
Lee,
was yesterday. That was yesterday.
Yesterday
we
had today. It's the 26th
yes, it is, yes.
for me. So for me, it's Australia Day.
The peaceful protest. I put up on my Facebook page what it's really about, but what the protesters think it's about has nothing to do with what it's about. But it's like the BLM.
You're our Australia representative. Explain what Australia Day is, Lee.
Well, in a quick summary, it was the day when Australia, up until the date, I think it was in 1849, they changed it where we're under British rule. But then I think it's when the English finally give us our citizenship and we could travel on Australian passports. Up until now, we had to travel on English passport. So it's like almost when we declared our independence from England and were known as Australians and that. So that's what it's really about. And then I think in 1988, on the bicentennial year, I think the government included Captain Cook's Landing to be a part of the celebration and everything else, but they take it as Invasion Day. The day we invaded, took over the land, got rid of them. So yesterday they're marching around. Always was, always will be. And Dave, half these people marching, they're whiter than me. It's like some had red hair and freckles. I'm like, you're 96% white. How can you say you're black when you're 4%? But here you get good benefits because I know because an ex-wife had 3 Aboriginal kids and the money they get. And they want to change everything. And my friend who sets up a skin cancer thing there in the park,
right? They're
like, what's that flag? You're the Australian flag. And he had a skull and crossbones because he has a skeleton there, for like melanoma and that. Gives out free samples of skin cream.
Yeah.
What's the skull and crossbone flag mean? What's that meant to mean? And it's like, then the police come over and they're like, what are you protesting? He's like, I'm not protesting anything. I'm here every week. I've been here for 2 years promoting skin cancer. And then
I'm trying to make people aware of skin cancer. I'm not protesting anything.
Yeah, he's there every week. Like, he's been there for a year or more. Just same spot in the park, under the tree, in the shade. What's the skull and crossbones meant to mean? Is that a protest? No, it's a fucking pirate flag. And then once they heard he had skin cancer and got over it in remission, some of them were yelling out, hope you fucking die of skin cancer, you cunt. These peaceful protests. If you want to get a message across of peace and unity and harmony, pretty much like the BLM peaceful protest. So,
yeah.
Unbelievable. So,
according to Wikipedia, it marks the 1788 landing of the first fleet at Sydney Cove and raising the Union flag by Arthur Phillip, following the days of exploration of Port Jackson in New South Wales.
Hold on, I might have disappeared for a minute. It's not that at all, but
you must be getting a phone call.
Read. No, I just sent you a message.
Oh. Just came
I sent you yes, that's what I'm back. That's what there you go. That's what it's really meant to be. Read that. They just included the landing in it later on, dude. And it's the day now. If you become an Australian, because that's when we got our independence from England and actually became citizens and not under British rule. That's why when now we have citizenship, they get sworn in as Australian citizens on that date.
I didn't know that. All right, this is the real stuff. Australia Day does not celebrate the arrival of the first fleet or the invasion of anything. 2, Captain Cook did not arrive in Australia on the 26th of January. The landing of Captain Cook in Sydney happened on April 28th, 1770, not the 26th. The first fleet arrived in Botany Bay on the 18th of January. The 26th was chosen as Australia Day for a very different and important reason. 26th of January is the day Australians received their independence from British rule. So Lee was right. However, Captain Cook's landing was included in Australian bicentennial celebrations of 1988. So Sadly, the importance of the date for all Australians has begun to fade, and now a generation later, it is all but lost. The media, as usual, is happy to twist the truth for the sake of controversy. Oh my God!
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They love it. They come Australia Day. It's always like change the date. This is the thing I don't get. All that stuff that we're celebrating on January 26th, which had nothing to do with the landing, whatever. Let's just say we're celebrating the independence of Australia. We're still celebrating when Captain Cook landed. If we move that to March 25th, you're still going to be pissed off because you're still celebrating the same thing. Right. So what's changing the date going to do? Because that date had no significance to do with anything anyway.
It's all arbitrary anyway. Yeah, exactly. It's It's like we do 4th of July. What's the difference? I mean, if they made it to the 8th of July, I mean, would it really make a big difference? No one cares. They just want to blow fireworks off here and get all excited about it.
Exactly. They'll still be complaining about what the reason you're doing it's for. It doesn't change that, does it? It's just a different date.
No. Now, speaking of messed up Australian things, I have a couple of special
Australian stories.
I want to show you some. Hold on.
I heard we have to cut back our swearing so we don't get demonetized.
Yeah, but you've already violated that about 40 times.
I did.
Already.
When did I say it?
You said the C word. You said the C word. The C word is like you saying like I love you.
I know.
All right, look at this one.
It's like we said though. People know what channels are about. If you know what channels are about, don't watch them. Which one's that? Harris Farm. Oh yeah, there's one of them in town near me.
All right, Harris Farms is selling turkey breast, Lee. That is, if you look at the package, is made using 100% Australian pork.
It's a new type of turkey.
What genius made this product, Lee? I want to know. That's what I want to know. What genius made this product?
Hey, I guess you could because if it tastes like chicken, it's all chicken.
Why are they calling it turkey breast? I'm planning a course. I've been planning this thing for 5 years.
Is that a misprint or is that like a?
No, it's not a misprint. It says made.
I got a Harris Farm
in Australia,
in Newcastle. Mm-hmm.
It says made in Australia from at least 50% Australian products ingredients. So
I hate when they do that now. Before that logo there, where it says made in Australia with the kangaroo, that's in like green and gold generally. Yeah. That always meant the product was 100% Australian, grown here, manufactured here.
Right. This stuff is made using Australian pork. So if you want to get some good turkey breast, you should be happy to know that it's homegrown pork from Australia. Actually,
we have a commercial here: pork, the other white meat.
Yeah, they must have mixed it up, I guess. All
it's
right.
out of date though. Look, 24th of the 11th, 22. I better not eat it. It could be.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'll have to check out Harris Farm. I never go in there. It's almost like a Whole Foods type thing.
I hope no Muslim people go in there and try to think they're going to get some turkey breast and they're actually.
Oh my God! And they eat it. If they eat that, they'll go to hell.
Yeah, that's right. All right, here's another one I wanted to bring up to you. Let me see if I can pull this one up. All right. Have you seen this one? Scientists warn that eggs are causing thousands of people to suddenly die from blood clots.
Eggs
or form blood clot. Yeah, well, because there's an egg shortage, Lee, right? So they're blaming the eggs, not the vaccine. They're blaming the eggs. The eggs are causing all these blood clots now, and that's why they got to get rid of all the eggs.
Oh my God! I don't get this though. How can there be an egg shortage? Because I've had chickens. Anyone that's owned chickens, I've had a few, and I mean, how do chickens just stop laying eggs? They don't. They're just continuously laying eggs.
Well, what they're saying is that the avian flu, they had to put to death like millions and millions of chickens. So
of course they did.
But you know how fast these chickens grow and start producing eggs. So the price of eggs should go up for a few months, but they should come right back down because we should be able to catch up within 6 months of all the dead chickens, because chickens breed really fast and they produce a lot.
They're like rabbits.
So now I gotta go. Now I gotta go start. I gotta go get chickens now, and I gotta make my own eggs now. So that means I gotta put my chickens on a very special diet. So I'm gonna have to. Maybe I should feed them some isolines.
Exactly. They might have double the protein ratio in the eggs.
Yeah. Now I would assume
they do anything. It's all a scam.
Yeah.
It's all a scam.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But I will say I went to buy a carton of eggs, and they wanted like for the really high end ones that that they're like omega-3 eggs, free range, organic. they were like $10 a dozen. I was like, holy crap! Probably in Australia that'd be $20 a dozen.
Well, the funny thing is, we went through this probably 6 months ago, so you're slow to catch up. The people in America must have just saw the headlines from 6 months ago here, because there was a couple of weeks I went into the grocery store and not eggs on the shelf, and my wife said, "Oh yeah, there's an egg shortage." I'm like, when did that happen? It's like, that's happened overnight. It's just like,
It's funny. My neighbor has all these chickens, and he's always in front of his house. He has like prices if you want to buy eggs from him. Yeah. I'm always like, my wife's like, should we buy? I'm like, I don't want to buy eggs from him. I'm going to buy the eggs from the supermarket. Now I'm like, I'm ready to go over there tomorrow and say, how many eggs you got? Because I eat like, I eat at least 6 eggs a day, myself.
And did you ever have a problem? Now it's like, don't have raw eggs. Isn't that, when I was younger, I always had raw eggs in shakes and everything.
Me too.
I never once got salmonella or anything like that. Or
no.
I've been to restaurants where they're half cooked and the white still looks like fucking jelly on top. It's like
the risk of getting salmonella from an egg is probably lower than it would be getting salmonella or some kind of food poisoning from eating, I would think, like sushi or something like that. But no one gets sick from eating sushi. I mean, I guess if there's a tainted, egg outbreak of salmonella, you're going to get it. But, usually they kind of tell you if there's an outbreak. I've never heard of it. I ate a lot of raw eggs in my day. Back in the day, I would blend them up because for some reason, when an egg, before it's cooked, if you blend it with some protein powder or even, I would just put like packets of Splenda in there with it.
Yeah.
It tastes really good. It doesn't make sense why a raw egg blended up with Splenda would taste good, but I used to do that while I was dieting, man. It was, you would think you would
I used to do the raw
egg.
I used to do the raw egg, get a nice vanilla whey, put it in there.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, a bit of some sort of sweetener, but then I'd put in couple of drops of vanilla essence, and it was like the nicest milkshake ever.
Yeah, it's got a good mouthfeel, and if you took a raw egg and just put it in your mouth, it would feel slimy and disgusting. But when you blend them up,
like Rocky,
with a little sweetener in it, great.
And it's like when you watch that scene with Rocky. Remember, when he's drinking the raw eggs, you go, "Ugh," just the feel.
Well, because Rocky put him in a glass. He didn't even mix it up. He just he was gulping them down with the white like dripping down his face. How many people ate raw egg whites after he did that, right?
Oh, I bet they all did. Everyone probably went and done it, went jogging. The thing is, he does that, then he goes jogging. That'd make you want to throw up after you went jogging. Or some people mix them in. Have you ever mixed them in pineapple juice and that? It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
disappeared. But I'm here. Hello. Yeah. But some people put it in pineapple juice and just drink it in juice. You can't taste it. It's pretty good.
Any kind of sweetener. That's why I'm saying you could use like literally like Splenda, or I think back in the day I was using Equal. We didn't have Splenda.
Yeah, I think Equal was the only one we had, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I would buy powdered NutraSweet, which was essentially Equal, and I would just scoop it in there like you scooping sugar. I would eat it.
Yeah.
You ever eat the powdered NutraSweet?
No. I used to go. Remember back in the day, it was which one of them was shit for cooking, because when you go to cook with it, it gets rid of the sweetness. So you had to get like one for cooking and one for.
Yeah. Well, Splenda supposedly is heat stable, but I used to cook with Equal and it still kept its sweetness. But I mean, they say it breaks down in heat, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I never really noticed it. Maybe
that's why you just use real sugar. I like real sugar. So even the raw sugar, the brown one's pretty good on stuff.
The funny thing, I have been using artificial sweeteners for so long now that I don't even like the taste of sugar. I tried something the other day. Like I had like one of my kids' cookies or something like that the other day. I'm like, this isn't even that good. I don't even like it. I think you get your taste buds get it used to whatever you're eating, and then you don't even want the other thing anymore.
That's like when you start dieting. Remember, everything tastes so crap, but then at the end of the diet, you're like, "Oh, this is great."
My son, whenever we go to a restaurant, he's always like, "I want regular soda, regular Coke." And my wife and I are always like, "Give him a diet." He doesn't know the difference. He can't tell the difference.
Well, some of them now, the Pepsi Max and all them, or Coke Zero Sugar, it tastes pretty like the thing. I get the one now, the Coke that's zero sugar but zero caffeine as well. So if I have it at night, it won't keep me awake.
Right. You got to do. I do diet ginger ale at night, and I do diet Sunkist.
I like the diet Sunkist. We got that here.
It's really good.
The diet. Yeah, I like the diet. That's like probably like we call it ginger beer here. Ginger beer, not ginger ale.
Yeah.
And they actually come in stubbies, like they come in a little brown bottle, like a beer bottle too. So I often wondered if I was driving along the road drinking this and the cop looked at you, you'd probably think you're drinking a beer and pull you over.
Hold on, I want to pull up a good picture that you had posted on your Instagram.
I got a funny story too. I got a message from Jimmy the other day.
Oh, what did you say?
I said, Jimmy, stop being paranoid. Lee, I got a question to ask. Are you mad at me?
Oh,
Jimmy,
no, he's pulling that stuff again.
I just saw a video, and my picture's not on the wall behind you. Have you taken it down? So I got my phone. I went in the room. I turned it on record. I said, Jimmy, what the fuck is this right here? That's your picture. Stop being so paranoid, Jimmy. He goes, oh. I looked at it again. Yeah. Must have been an old video because you didn't have the face tattoo. Must have been before I sent you the picture. He goes, oh, I feel stupid now.
You know how like when you break up with a girl sometimes and you like start investigating them, like let me see where she's going. You know, it's like Jimmy's like checking up on you to make sure you're not cheating on her or something like that.
Jimmy hasn't got the best eyesight. He's got to put his glasses on, so he must have paused the video and zoomed in. He goes, "Where's my picture?" I said, "Jimmy, it's okay. Your picture's there. I still love you."
Right, that's right. All right, I want to pull this picture up. Hold on, from your Instagram. Talk to us about when this happened and what show was this? 99 Olympia?
No, that was the 99 Olympia. Yeah, Milos posted it, so I reposted it. Yeah.
So that's the year Ronnie won his second Olympia. What place did you come in at that show?
I think it was at 7th or something. I can't remember.
Did Dexter beat you in that show? Or no?
Yeah, I think because I was white, they pushed me out of the top 6.
You're terrible. Wasn't Nasser in the top 6?
He's not white. If you're from another country, you don't claim to be white. It's true. Look, I've seen yesterday. I saw 98% of the Aborigines are whiter than me, so it doesn't matter. And here's a funny thing, right? This is the funniest story ever. I was there. Where was I? Somewhere, and someone was complaining about it. And like, you don't understand what it's like being black. I turn around and swear to God, they had orange hair. I mean, orange freckles and white. And you know how pale someone with freckles and orange hair is.
Oh yeah.
You don't understand what it's like. And I'm like, nor do you. I'm like, shit. I said, if anyone's giving you grief in life, I said it's for being a fucking redhead, not for being black. It's like everyone always says the redheaded stepchild or makes jokes about rangers, they call them. I think, oh my God, it's like an anorexic looking in the mirror, seeing they're skinny. He must look in the mirror and go, oh my God, look, blackface.
Black.
I don't get it. It's like, I don't get it.
We live in such a crazy society now.
Oh, it's getting worse.
It's really insane because there's nothing you can say that's right. Everything's politically incorrect now. There's no person. I don't even know how comedians are going to make a living anymore, to be honest with you.
That's the worst thing for them, isn't it? Because the way they carry on sometimes now, and I was watching Jim Jeffries again the other day. He was saying how he's always getting in trouble. And he goes, "We're comedians." He does a big thing about it, saying it's a joke. You know, it's a joke. If you get offended, he goes, "Look," he goes, "I love Dave Chappelle. I laugh at his jokes. Some of his jokes I don't like. Guess what? I don't laugh at them, but I don't get offended or complain or whatever." Right. He goes, "We're all like certain things." He goes, "But you can't get mad at me for stuff I've done 10 or 15 years ago because there was a line. And as comedians, we come right up to that line, if not crossing it sometimes. So this is where the line was. This is where we went to. Now you've moved the line back here." He goes, "You can't do that because all our stuff is over the line up here. And this is all the stuff we're getting in trouble for." It's like,
but you know what? You remember when Richard Pryor came out and he was cutting edge because he was cursed. He would talk about race stuff. And he was like one of the first guys, Lenny Bruce really was the first, but Richard Pryor followed him. These guys just paved the way for like the guys like Eddie Murphy and all the great comedians who came after that. And you know what? Now we're regressing. We're going backwards into like you can't say. Pretty soon you're going to get arrested if you start saying the N-word or you start saying anything racial or
my God. If they arrested you for saying the N-word, they need bigger prisons because all the black people would get locked up.
But so I'm
Because
saying,
that's a
but
word only they can use.
right. But I'm just saying, in a comedy act, I feel that everything is, you can say anything.
It should be. Everything's off limits because it's comedy.
Right. Do you remember what's her name? Who's Lisa Lampanelli? You know, the fat Italian woman. My father loved her.
She was
and
funny.
It's funny because she made fun of everyone, and it's funny because she would always make fun of how, because she dates black guys, she likes black guys.
And because she'd always make jokes about a pussy getting stretched and everything.
I mean, it was gross, disgusting, and she was disgusting because she was fat and over.
Yeah.
But it was really funny because
you laughed. Yeah.
You know,
that's what I think. It's like, it's comedy. You don't take it serious. Look, how many times have people they've made jokes about pedophiles, they made jokes about rape. Every topic, that's so bad, but yet you got to laugh at it because it's just funny. It doesn't mean, you support it or you agree with it or shit. It's just funny. And that's the thing. Here in Australia, we used to be so laid back. I'm sure, like America, you could have a laugh at yourself. If someone picked out a stereotype about your race, religion, or whatever, you could have a laugh about it because it was funny. But now you can't say that. You can't do this. You can't say it. You can't make a fat joke because you're fat shaming. It's like, you can't. Oh my God, it's just
the celebrity roast that they used to have back in the day. Dean Martin
celebrity
roast.
They
whoever they were roasting, they would brutalize these people so bad.
Don Rickles was the worst. What about Don Rickles? He was the worst.
Don Rickles was one of the best roasters of all time. But I'm saying they roasted Sammy Davis.
I know, but some of the stuff he would say.
Oh my God! But they made so many black jokes and Jewish jokes because Sammy Davis was Jewish. It was almost like you can't even believe what they're saying. But it was so funny because he got it. He was a comedian. He understood. No one got offended. They all loved each other. They were all really good friends with each other. And it's sad that we've regressed back to a point where we have to be worried about every word we say to people that they're going to be offended. And
that's the funny thing too. It's like the people in the audience watching those things are a mixture of all races, and they all laughed. No one was offended. No one was you didn't have like Twitter or Facebook back then, but no one was going to the local paper doing a big story headlines. Right. I'm offended by this joke. We just laughed and got on it. It wasn't even probably thought about 2 minutes later because it was just a joke. It went through. It's like, but now, some of those Don Rickles, I saw one of him once. Have you ever seen the one where he's interviewing like a baseball team and there's like a mixture of Cubans and different people on there, and he's just making jokes about their race, how they got there, and it was saying that one of them must be tired from swimming and all. Just like, and they're laughing, they're having a good time. Yeah. But it's like, my God, if you did that today, like, look at some of the coaches now that get in trouble, and these people are coming out saying, "Oh, they're racist, they're this, they're that." I'm thinking, how could you? That reminds me, when I was at Fit Club LA, I saw what's his name there a few times training. Who's the one that took a knee? They didn't like it.
Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, he's in there training in the mornings.
That's funny.
It's so weird.
It's kind of sad that we live in this world where we can't say what we want anymore.
And the media does fan the flames, that's for sure, because it's just crazy. Everything's about race now, and there's a big meteor coming towards Earth too. Let Jimmy know. I heard on the news this morning. Massive meteor coming. It's weird. But the media too. It's like even when I lived there, in all those years I lived there was nothing ever mentioned about race on the news and this and that. But the media now just, how can we get things going? Let's, it's like you said, we're going backwards. We're actually going backwards here in Australia. I see it in America. It's like we're going backwards when it comes to relations between people of different races. It's like everyone's getting all offended and we don't like you because of this, or now it's like we don't like you because of who you vote for. You vote for Republicans, you got to be on the right wing supremacist type side. It's like, seriously? It's like
yeah. Well, think about all the gossip and arguments in bodybuilding today that take place on social media. That never would have happened.
Can I tell you about that?
15 years ago, because no one would have even known about it, because no one has had a vehicle to put this stuff in a public forum where everyone in the world could see it every single day. You might hear about an argument a guy had backstage, or Mike Quinn punched someone out backstage. That was a big story. Yeah.
I can tell you a funny story about that. It just happened. Right. Was it yesterday? You know how I put up about, and we posted how You know, I think the 212 should be disbanded and that.
Yeah.
The amount of hate I've got from bodybuilders. Who do you think you are? You've never won Olympia, blah, blah, blah. Even Aaron Pilates, you know, him from Australia.
Yeah.
He wrote to me going, how can you say that? They'll be like getting rid of weight classes in UFC. No, it's a totally different thing. That's two people fighting. It'd be like having the open and the 212 if we went on stage lifting weights, because then you'd have different weight classes due to body weight or what weights you're putting up. But so then he went on, he's like this and carried on like a bitch and that. So I said, yeah, you're a bitch. He goes, say it to my face. Come say it to my face now. I said, what? I'm going to come all the way to Queensland, 10 hours. He goes, you never said it to my face before. I said, because the 212 wasn't on my mind when I last saw you up in Queensland. Why would I say it to your face? So it's like, I got no problem saying it to your face, Aaron Pilates. What, because you're a 212? If you're good enough to do the open. And then he's like, I was on the phone to Flex just 5 minutes ago, and he doesn't think what you said, this and that. So I message Flex. Flex, like, I can show you my call log right now. I was not on the phone with that Aaron Pilates. And it's like, we were going back and forth having a thing about it. He goes, Lee, I don't agree. But he goes, I see your point. He goes, you know, they got rid of the 212 class now. It'll make all of his accomplishments almost null and void in that. But I was just saying how people like him and that would have done well in the open. You would have risen up to the occasion. And I still think a lot of them now would be good in the 212 because, I mean, in the open, because the conditioning now, because some of these bigger guys aren't getting the condition. And we've seen a lot of these 212 go up there. It's like, well, what about the guys who can't make it? I'm like, well, sadly, maybe they shouldn't be pro. Stay amateur. Not everyone's going to be big and freaky, so we can't keep making classes. Like on that video, I said, okay, let's say you got to get in the Olympics. You got to run a 10:20. Oh, sorry, you didn't make it. You can't run fast enough. Hey, but don't worry. Next Olympics, we're going to bring out the 12-second class. So if you're a little bit slower, you can run in that one. It's like the pros used to be, and Aaron Pilates says I could be pro in his name. I've always said when you got to put pro in your name, then when you got to tell someone you're a pro, because I remember back in the day, yes, I'm going to say back in the day, so people get upset. You could see a bodybuilder and go, wow, look at him. He's professional. Now, how many people have said I'm a pro, and you look at him and you're like, what, in croquet? Darts? What? Oh, no, bodybuilding. I was like, oh. I was like, okay. It's like everyone can get a pro card now. It's not like before it used to be this prestigious thing that you had to break your ass for. I had one guy. I couldn't get mad at him because he's in a wheelchair. He goes, it took me 17 years to get my pro card, and I'm great from the accomplishment. I'm like, hey, that's great. I understand. But, you know, some of these people, we see it all the time. That'll go 15, 20 years, wasting their life. They'll lose jobs, lose relationships, all in this hope to get a pro card, then do nothing with it. It's like, I don't get it. It's like, but the start of the whole big thing, but Flex and I just laughing at people are going off, and we don't have a problem with each other. He sees my point, I see his point, and that's how it should be. But oh my God, some of these other people, F you got no idea. Yeah, man. I'm like, oh God, just because they said they should get rid of the 212. Like, that's what I said to Flex. I still don't get it today. We have these men, muscular men who are meant to be masculine, getting so bent out of shape if you say anything, and it's always online, of course, but whatever.
In the 212, I mean, I think that that these guys are taking it personally because it's like they think you're going to take away their ability to actually be stars, you know. But I remember back in the 90s, you know, everyone knew every pro. I knew every single pro. There was not a single pro that I couldn't recognize if I walked into a gym. When I would go to the Arnold Classic every year and I'd go train, you know, everyone trained at that World Gym that was owned by Jim Lorimer at the time. We knew everyone, every pro that walked in that door, from the bantamweight winner at nationals to the middleweight to there wasn't even welterweight back then, to light heavyweight, heavyweight. You knew every single pro because there were so few of them that getting a pro card was meant something, you know, back then. It really was a high percentage. Doesn't mean that it's devalued now. It just means that it had a different meaning 20 years ago, you know. So
exactly, like I said, even what's his name, the little Asian guy, Alan Ichinozi, or whatever his name was. Even you knew he was a pro.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just so weird that people get so upset by that. And I'm thinking, why are you getting so upset? It's like, if you can make it in the pros, you can make it. You don't need the. And the thing is too, it's like, but you're taking away money from them. Am I really? Unless you're winning the 212 or maybe getting second, if you're coming fifth or sixth in a 212, you've wasted money. Okay, it might not be a waste to you, but it's cost you money out of your own pocket for your contest prep, your supplements, your hotel, your airfare. The promoter's not paying you, so don't come down on me with all your crap when you know I'm right.
I think what would have been a better idea was the original inception that they had. The 202 class was a good class, and I'll tell you why. Because the 202 guys could not compete in the open because they weren't big enough. But at 212, when you're sucking down from 220,
199.
All right, but I'm saying you were an anomaly because you were short, and a lot of these guys didn't have the mass you had at your height.
Most 212 are short.
Yeah, but no, 202, it's a completely different ball game. I mean, the only guy who would have, guys like you and Sean Clarita would have been able to cross over because just the amount of muscle you carry on your frame. But to be honest with you, 202 would have eliminated the Flex Lewises. It would have eliminated the Jose towards the end of his career. It would have gotten a lot of these guys into the open, Flex Lewis into the open class way earlier. A lot of people think that the 212 was created for Flex Lewis because they knew Flex wouldn't be able to make 202, and that's why they raised the class limit. I don't know if that's the case or not. But Flex never would have been a 202 guy. He couldn't have competed at that. He never would have made that weight. He would have been forced to do open, and he probably would, like you said, he probably would have done very well. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, he would have, exactly. Like, it's funny too because Flex said he's been getting a lot of things. Have you seen what Lee said? Have you seen what Lee said about the 212? I'm like, my God, you'd think I was like destroying people. But to me, what they should have done was what Nabba did because, we talk about the sport being dangerous. You see people like Flex and Derek and all these guys that had to, like I said, really diet down, which isn't, to go down past a certain level is sort of can be dangerous to the body. So I've always said they should be like 5'7" and under and above 5'7", because that way you can have guys who are like Flex and them who are shorter, or even Derek who are shorter, be as heavy as they want. Just go to height, don't go by the weight. So
and then you can have an overall at the end for the overall Mr. Olympia.
Exactly, and people would love to see it. I still don't know why they don't do that. It's like I know they'd be like, well, then if the 212 guy won, what's it say about the open guy? It's like, well, it means he beats him because this is what I don't understand when it comes to the judging criteria. And let's just say, like, people laugh when they say Clarita could win, but yeah, Clarita is, if you're going by symmetry, mass, conditioning, proportions, he doesn't fail anywhere. Even he has calves. So this is what I don't get. Let's just say we get a bigger guy who outweighs him 50 pounds, but this bigger guy is missing calves. I don't get it because if you're going by proportion and symmetry, you need calves. You can't win a bodybuilding show saying this is the best physique on stage when you're missing a whole muscle group. I don't care if it is calves. If you don't have a muscle group, how can you beat the guy that does have that muscle group? I don't care if you are bigger than him. You are missing a muscle group. Okay, let's just say you got huge calves and everything else, but you had no biceps. Would they let you win? Probably not, because you got no biceps. So why are we overlooking calves when that's a muscle group and you got to be symmetrical, as close to perfect as you can be? So judges, get your act together, get in gear and fucking judge how you meant to judge.
I think that the height class might be interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing how that. I mean, look, it's
I'd say like 5'7" or
not doing an overall of the 212 versus the open is analogous to having a franchise movie chain, right? You have a movie like Rocky, and everyone's saying, make a sequel. It's going to make millions. Everyone wants a sequel. No, we're not going to do it. We're not going to. Yes, we know everyone's going to spend billions of dollars. We're not going to make the sequel. You got to do the sequel. It's the same thing. People want it. What negative could there possibly be of putting up the 212 guy and the open overall guy on stage together for an exciting pose down? And
that would be the most exciting part. That would be the most exciting part of the whole show.
Lee, what could be the negative on that? Tell me, please.
There isn't. And it only take what? 5 or 10 minutes longer to get them both on stage to do that.
They already wasted 16 hours before that. What's another 10 minutes? Right, exactly, at that point.
I know. I mean, it would be the most exciting part of the show, seeing them both go at it pose for pose and then pose down together like Arnold and Franco. Arnold and Franco used to get up there and do it like so. Yeah, it's just crazy.
You could put the classic guy in
there is no negative.
No.
Yeah, there's no negative to it unless they just say, "Oh, well, look, the 212 guy keeps beating the open. Well, maybe the 212 guy has better symmetry and proportions, and we know the 212 guy is going to have better conditioning. So it's like,
this is what you do. You don't give the Mr. Olympia first place prize to the 212 guy. If the 212 guy decides to do 212, fine. But if he wins the overall, you can either have a bonus that they win or just a special trophy saying I'm Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
So then this way the 212 guy will say, wait, I beat the open guy. I better do the open next year because I'm losing $400,000. That right? I mean that's the logic, right?
I know there's no negative to it. And that's the thing now, because when we didn't have the classes back in my day, even Flex and other people have mentioned, they don't get judged fairly now if they went in the open, because I think in the judges' minds, they're like, well, you've got a class, you've got a 212 class, so we're not judging you as fairly as like when they didn't have it and we had people like me and Labrada in the opens, they'll judge it on how you look. But now they're thinking...
Didn't hurt Derek Lunsford. So
no, but let's just
these judges judge what's up there. That's all they can do is judge what's up there. And you know what? If a 212 guy goes in the open and he looks small, he's going to get judged the way he's getting judged. If he goes into the 212 into the open class and he looks better than everyone else, he's going to win. That's the way it goes. I don't believe
exactly. There's some 212 guys, like I said, there might be 212, but like I said, if you're not winning the 212 or at least getting in the top 3, you're not making any money from that class at all. So you'd be better off doing an open, because okay, some of these 212 in the bigger shows you might not do good, but there's a lot of smaller pro shows that you might do well in and make more money than if you won the 212 smaller shows.
Yes, you're 100% right. We've seen some open shows that were horrendous competition wise, and I probably can pick at least 5 or 6 212 guys that would have placed top 5 easily at those shows.
Yeah.
So you're right. If I'm a 212 guy, and maybe like I said, like Lee says, and I'm not winning shows, the big shows, because I just can't do. I would go in open shows. Why not? You probably get at least get a couple $1,000 prize money.
Yeah, granted, Sergio and Regan weren't at their best, but they were still in good shape. No one ever expected Sean Clarita to go in there and beat those two guys when you consider the height, the weight difference, and look at him when he stood there. Yes, he was shorter in stature, but standing there on stage, muscle-wise and conditioning and stuff, you were just drawn to him. You couldn't stop looking at him. It's like crazy. It's like Honey, I Shrunk Ronnie Coleman in the movie. It's like he's in stage.
The real reason why we have all these classes is because it has to support the amateur division. And what I mean by that is the amateur division is where they make the money. Promoters, the NPC, because obviously people have to pay to play, so to speak. And if there's a carrot that's dangling here in the pro ranks for a place for me to go, if I get my pro card, I'm going to be much more likely to want to compete, because I feel like I can attain a pro card and compete in the 212 division, or I could do the classic physique division, even though I can't win a pro card in the open. I have a classic, I have a small waist, I have a classic, I can get in. So they got to, the more carrots they can dangle there, the more people participate, the more money they get, because then you get more NPC cards, you get more entrants, and the bigger the sport gets. So I understand from a financial standpoint and a business standpoint.
I understand that bit too. Yeah, and don't forget, once you do get your pro card, and there's a ton more pros now, you still got to pay for that pro card every year. So you're still getting money from the pro cards.
Absolutely. But, because think about it, I know a lot of guys, like I'm very good friends with Craig Licker, and Craig Licker won the 94 middleweight class. That's the DeMeo one. And he couldn't compete. He tried. I used to do his dive for him. He would come in. He looked great. He'd put muscle on every year, but he just couldn't compete in the open. He wasn't big enough. 212 would have been perfect for him, because it would have given him a place to go. And then that would make it much more likely that other middleweights would do the shows, because they could say, oh, if I turn pro, I can go into the 212 class. So I think the reason why the sport has grown so much is because we have these other classes. The problem, and I know what you're saying, is it's watering down the prestige behind being an IFBB pro, because now you got bikini pros and wellness pros and men's physique pros. I don't know if there's they should have a different delineation or something like that for the open class. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but if you want to make the sport more exciting, they should definitely have it overall posed out at the end of these shows, without a doubt.
Exactly. And even like you said, throw the classic guy in there if you want. So
Why not? I'd like to see Bumstead what he looks like next to these guys. I'm sure he'd probably like to get the pictures, probably too, wouldn't he?
Exactly. Even if it's just for that, even seeing Flex near Phil, pictures of that and that sort of thing, and then let's just say Phil won, people would be looking at photos going, oh, I don't know, Flex looks better here. Just to have those comparisons, even
or
for
you
those
know what,
guys,
if you really liked. For a goof, you know what you do? You have the fans vote. Do it like they do with the People's Champ. Let the fans pick who the best is. Of course, Bumstead would win that.
I gotta say, Bumstead would win. He'd have all his followers logging on.
Chris Bumstead overall, Mr. Olympia because of the.
I don't know. No, if you had Rami up there or Hardy, I think they'd have the whole country behind them. So you'd be lost there. So.
I still think Bumstead has more followers. Bumstead's got like 13 million followers on Instagram. Man, if a fraction of those guys voted for him, it would be
half of them are robots. Half of them are robots. Robots, half of them.
All right. Well. I'm going to let you go finish your Australia Day celebration.
But I'm going to go work. I did my 45-minute. I'm going to go in and try to do some push-ups and that because I sent you that report and it still feels weird, like where the pec and that is here. Now it says the rotator cuff has a bit of it.
Lean tor is coracoid muscle, right?
A word like that, yeah, something like that. It's a weird sort of.
When I was doing gross anatomy, Lee. I in school, I didn't even know what the muscle was, and it's the muscle that lays underneath the bicep muscle. I'm trying to pull up a picture.
Yeah, that's why it sort of feels like it's your bicep that tore when it happens because it's in that region.
Yeah.
So then they come to tell me I got a tear in my rotator cuff as well from the MRI. I knew I had pain in my shoulder.
Yeah, I didn't see that. You had a rotator cuff tear? I didn't see that on the thing.
Yeah, but it says they might need to do another MRI to really look at it, but it's in the report there.
The good thing, Lee, is there's nothing they can do for it, so it's got to just heal, basically. So.
Yeah, well, that guy said he could inject that PRP into it, the platelets.
Yeah, it can't hurt. I mean, I would
hurt when it goes in, Dave.
I'm not going to say who, but I have a friend who does his own PRP treatment. He has a little centrifuge. He spins his blood down.
What's he put his blood in the blender? His magic bullet.
He bought a little centrifuge. You spin the blood down, and then the red blood cells fall to the bottom, and then the serum is at the top. It's the serum. That's why it's called plasma-rich platelets. And you pour that off, and that's the stuff you inject, the plasma. So that's where it has all the growth factors in there.
Imagine his house ever getting raided. They'd be like, "Well, you got this here for, and this, and that." You mad scientist. With all the growth factors now, you probably can grow from that stuff. I'm surprised people haven't been injecting themselves with their own plasma, concentrating it down and taking nightly shots of putting it into the muscle, like insulin needle.
Tell me about it. Hey, that might be better than Synthol right there.
Maybe.
That might be better than Synthol.
You got your mate that has the machine, tell him to do it and start injecting his biceps and just see if they grow in like 6 months. It could. Why not? It might be like some sort of stem cell type thing into the muscle.
I have a business, Lee. I have a new business for you and I are going to start. We're going to sell. We're going to get someone. We got to find some place in China that makes mini centrifuges, and we're going to give it a cool name, like the Priest Press or something like that. And you just bodybuilders don't have any problem sticking with a needle. You got to take a vial of your blood out.
We'll call it the psychotic cyclone.
Yeah,
pre-psychotic cyclone.
Part of the kit, though, will be like this little vacuum tube, so that when you stick it in your vein, it sucks the blood out for you. That's like when you go for blood work, it pulls it right out, and then you just put that little tube that it pulls it into in the centrifuge. You spin it, and then you'll draw out the serum on top, and then you just inject that into whatever body part. You can do it every single night if you want, different body part every night. I bet you that'll be the new way bodybuilders grow in the future. I'm making a prediction here on the show. Anyone who wants to invest in this,
thank you too. I got my bottles of Somalize. I was expecting the testing kit in it. There's no testing kit. I can test my sus. Come on.
The great thing about this idea, Lee, is it's totally legal because there's nothing. Hey. You're using your own blood. You're not using anyone else's. You're not doing any drugs. You're using your body's chemistry to augment itself, and that's the future of muscle building.
And it can't be any worse for you than people that enjoy peeing on each other, using their own using their own urine and stuff. How could it be any worse than that? It couldn't be.
Just don't inject anyone else's blood into yourself.
No.
That's the one contraindication.
Because imagine that. Because what would happen if you put their plasma into you? It would be different, wouldn't it? Because it'd be all different.
Well, if they were a different blood type than you, that would really be a problem. You'd probably start.
Because I heard too that even like with stem cells, they got the stem cell from like the cord from cords and that. But they reckon, I don't know if it's true or not. They reckon that one could be most dangerous because of cancer growth factors and that and everything else. You got more chance of getting bad stuff from the cord rather than the other version of it. So, but
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily true because see the stem cells in the cord are really not differentiated yet. But who knows? I always worry about blood type imbalances because if you put someone else's blood type into your body, your immune system will attack that and go after unless you're type O blood, which means you have no.
Say if you put a woman's into a man, do you become gender fluid?
No,
it doesn't matter.
Very good joke.
I won't grow breasts or every month have blood coming out my penis.
No.
And go, oh my God, it's my period. I'm on my period. Help me. I got pains. Honey, don't talk to me for a week. I'm going to be really nasty.
The show always deteriorates at the last 5 minutes of the show.
That's life, Dave. It's life. It's
yeah,
like life facts here we're talking about.
Of course. All right, well, Lee, I
men
need to go work
periods.
out. Put your tampon in and go train at the gym and get a good workout in.
When I'm training, I like to use the thin line panty liners with wings that wrap around your panties. If I use a tampon and I squat, it could sometimes push out. A little mouse will fall on the floor.
And as a last bit of advice, don't forget, like Lee Priest, don't forget to take your stimuli before you go into the gym.
Yes, and if you're having trouble sleeping, I can't recommend Somalize enough if you're having problems sleeping.
Did we send you more?
Yes, I got it yesterday.
Okay.
It turned up a box of few. That's why I said the testing kit wasn't in there, so I can test my sus.
Oh yeah, I think she had already sent it out. That's why that was rough. Yeah.
Okay, well send the pigeon over with the testing kit strapped to it.
In the good old days when they sent pigeons out to deliver messages, right?
And Jimmy, if you're watching this show, I'm in the car. There is no photo of you in the car. I'm sorry, but I still love you, Jimmy.
I was going to ask you that. You know how like parents used to have their kids' shoes hanging from the rearview mirror. Yeah,
Jimmy,
you should have Jimmy's picture. You should put it.
Like
you got to put it on the other side of the visor, so when you pull the visor down, the camera can catch Jimmy's picture. Yeah, right there, exactly.
How many movies have we seen on revenge and killing where they're out for revenge, but before they go inside to kill the people, they pull down the visor and there's the wife and kid that got killed. They hold the cross. All right. How many times has that been done in the movie?
John Hanson reached out to me. He said we should do me and him should do a muscle at the movies, movie reviews.
Oh yeah, that would be good. Yeah, different ones that have been like muscular. Yeah, there's some been some
any movies. All you watch a ton. You watch more videos than I think. I think Hanson has us both beat, but you watch a lot of videos and movies too.
It doesn't have to be just Arnold and Stallone. There's been a few others out there who think they're muscular action men, and they'll even have almost like the cover of the movie looks similar to a Rambo or Commando. You're like, well, this would be good. It's like I remember even Oliver Grunner. You know, the guy who's trained at Gold's Gym and into martial arts, and he'd diet down and think he was like a Van Damme. And
who was the Asian guy that was in all the movies over there?
Don, was it Don someone?
Don the Dragon?
Was
Don the Dragon? Did he train out there? Yeah. Don the Dragon.
Yeah, I think it was Don the Dragon. Oh, you're thinking of the other guy, Bolo, too? He was there.
Bolo. But you brought Don the Dragon was there, too. I forgot about him. Yeah. He was a good guy.
Yeah, he was there. And Oliver Grunner, he was there, too, at the time. And so was the other guy, that tall. Remember he was in that movie with Dolph Lundgren, I Come in Peace. He was like the alien.
Oh, yeah. What the hell's that guy's name? Yeah.
He had the white hair. He was always at the gym. He was like Norwegian or something.
He was a weird-looking guy. Yeah. I can't remember.
Yeah, he looked like he did just from the movies. You think, wow, they got him done up to look like a weird alien. That's how he looked in person. That's how he looked.
And I walked in there in 1994 and I saw him. I got scared. I'm like, holy shit, that's the fucking guy from the movie. What is he doing here?
He's gonna put a big spike
costume,
out and stick it in. I know. He loved the part so much he just kept in. Yeah. What's his name always looked the same too. Andy
Swenson was very
Bernowski, in a lot
scary
of
too.
shows where he was big. Yeah.
Jeep
Andrew
Swenson
Bernowski, he was always in the gym.
Who was?
Yeah. What about Andrew Bernowski from the show The Program?
Yeah, Andy was great. Yeah, he was a good guy. I almost
and he was
lived
in
with
Batman.
him. Yeah.
He played what's his name, son in Batman, remember?
Yeah, no.
Christopher Walken's son.
I thought he was going to be a big star, to be honest with you, because when he was in that movie, The Program, with James
he even
Caan,
got in Leatherface. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was in a
What
lot
about
of
when
movies.
he played
I don't know.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't hit it bigger, because he was I thought he was a good actor, but he kind of was stereotyped a little bit. Yeah. He always played the lunatic, you know.
Oh yeah. Underroids, big guy, and that. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was funny. He was very good. I thought he was an excellent actor.
Oh yeah.
I got along really well.
Like I said, then when they first did that remake of Leatherface, I thought, okay, when he gets in that's a pretty big movie doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Right. I don't know why he didn't make it. I don't think it was for lack of trying, because he was
maybe
really,
he was a little outspoken in Hollywood. They don't like you to be outspoken in Hollywood, I don't think.
Yeah, that's what
you rub one producer, I guess, the
your
wrong
connection
way.
sucks,
sexually.
by the
You
way.
rub wrong producer. It's
your
yours.
connection stinks.
It's probably because of the clouds. That's this flat Earth not bouncing off the.
It's Australia Day. They're blocking you. Yeah, he was great. I really thought he would have made it a little bigger than he did, because I thought he was a good actor. You know, good looking guy. You know, tall. You know, he had the muscle. We'll have to get him on the show one of these days. I'm sure he has a reason why
he would have been a good one with his look too.
Yeah. Well, I think he might have got blacklisted like the Barbarian Brothers did. Yeah. You know.
Exactly. Well, his look there, he looks. He's like a Mike O'Hearn. He would have made a good He-Man.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure he would have done it too. He was trying to get the part of Lobo, the comic book character. He would walk around dressed as Lobo.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember that with the paint on his face and that. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked great too. I don't know why they never did the movie though. I think he was. I hear they're doing the movie now, like in the next couple of years or something like that. They're doing Lobo. I don't know who's going to play him, but probably The Rock.
Well, I heard they're going to try doing another He-Man again too. They're going to try doing another He-Man. And now they're trying to restart the Superman franchise, because that last movie with The Rock, Black Adam, The Rock brings Henry Cavill back in as Superman. The fans are happy. He fought for how long, The Rock said in a program. I think I watched it, and then they just cut him again. Now they're going through these young actors to find a new Superman. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
I think
we're going to start again from Krypton landing on Earth. Perfect.
I don't want to see it. I'm so sick of these reboots. Yeah, I'm so sick of these reboots, to be honest with you. Henry Cavill is still very young. I think he's a great actor. I heard he's difficult to work with, but I think he's a great actor, and I think he's an awesome Superman, actually. So,
I've liked all of his other movies he's been in. He's been pretty good. He's been good in all those other movies.
Yeah, he's
what's that one
actor.
he played the spy in? What's the one he was a spy in?
I forgot. Didn't that just come out or something like that? The one where he's a spy?
Yeah. Wasn't he in one of the last Fast and Furious he was in, wasn't he? Wasn't he in one of those?
I don't know. I didn't watch the last one.
That's one of them.
I think he would be a great James Bond, to be honest with you. I don't know why they didn't consider him for James Bond.
Because he's
got
white.
The accent.
We've got to go black woman. We've got to get a woman or a whatever play Bond.
You're crazy, Lee. I got to wrap this up.
You can't be white.
Go work out. Thank you guys for joining us today. Any topic, show suggestion topics, put them in the comments below. Either that or just tell us to go F off. We don't care. We don't read the comments anyway.
I do that. I do. I like to read them.
Lee reads them. Lee and Greg Valentino read all the comments, so don't worry about it. If you want to talk to them, address them. All right. We'll see you next week, guys. Stay tuned. Have a great week.